All right, cool. So, welcome everyone. Monday, 3/19, March 19th. So tonight for our Zoom call, our team meeting, I was kind of figuring out, like, what do we really need to speak about? What's the best way that we can maximize our time together? What's really going to be the most efficient use of our time? And I know that we can kind of go back and forth between different tools and techniques and different ways to connect with individuals. And that's all great. But at the same time, I was actually talking a little bit to Nate earlier today. I was really thinking about it because I was like, man, what drives me into action each and every day? Why am I taking, why do I take massive action? Why is this really the vehicle that I'm looking to use to really just get to freedom? And freedom means so many different things for me, financial freedom, physical freedom, freedom with my faith, helping other people find freedom with their faith as well in God and Jesus Christ. And, just being able to bless the world in every way I possibly can. So I thought about it. And I know that we've done this before, but I wanted to kind of get deeper too when it comes to vision, right? I've talked about, you can figure out where you're going, why you want to go there, and the how is going to be there. But at the same time, we ultimately really need to think about who we want to become in the process. And I think that that is the number one thing that I focus on the most when it comes to before connecting with individuals, before going out there and sharing with people what we have here with Isagenix and how it could be of service to them as well. I think about who I am and the person that I'm becoming in the process. So I wanted to just share with you guys, I've thought about my vision as far as what I'm looking to do with Isagenix. And I realized that Isagenix is the vehicle. Like, Isagenix is amazing. I love the network marketing profession. I love everything about it, but that's not the answer. That's just the vehicle that we're all using to achieve our goals, to achieve our dreams, to achieve what I truly believe God designed us to and really just called us to in the first place. So what I truly believe is that I'm here to really help others really unlock and find their true potential. And at the same time, it helps me find my true potential. And at the same time, too, I'm challenging people to really just think outside their comfort zone, to act outside their comfort zone, and to ultimately so they can show to themselves, like, wow, I can do this. Whether it's just maybe getting locked into a nutritional program or something that you're not used to on a regular basis, eating a certain way, going to the gym on a regular basis. Maybe that's a win for you. Or maybe it's something along the lines of connecting with different people that you are scared to connect with, because you haven't connected with maybe strangers ever in your life. And what that could feel like once you do. Maybe it could be when you first, you didn't think that you could make any more money in your life. And you thought that this is just the same thing that I'm going to be doing over and over again. This is where I'm going to work. This is what I got a degree for. This is why I'm in debt. And I have to do this and plug away with this until, gosh knows how long, regardless of if I like it or not. So I'm waking people up to see that there's another option because they have potential within them that's untapped that they can use in the pockets of their life to manifest greatness in other areas. So I want to show them that too. But like I said, relationship with God. But another thing too, just for my generation specifically, being a millennial, is I think about our generation a lot. I think about every generation. I think about all people. But I really think about our generation and who we have to follow. Who is really our role models, right? We think about it. It's just like, you had some great role models when, maybe the baby boomers, you had, different artists, you had, athletes. And now it just seems so saturated, right? It's just so saturated with so many different people and so many different, individuals that we can look up to that it almost becomes overwhelming. Like I think about it, I'm just like, man, I can't really think of somebody specifically that I look up to other than high performance coaches and mentors. So it's hard, So I truly believe that this world already has enough followers and we need to cultivate more leaders. We need more pioneers. We need more entrepreneurs in this world to lead the way, to show people that if we can do it, so can they. And that's why I love this profession of network marketing. But also, like I said, the relationship with God, tapping into, and I promise you this, that if I didn't have faith, if I didn't have God, if I couldn't lean on a higher power like I do, I would not have the confidence that I do. I would not have the strength or the perseverance to keep on going the way that I go every single day. It's just he's just part of who I am. He's part of my daily life, and I make him a priority each and every day. And because of Isagenix, I don't force it on anybody, but naturally people want to know, the nutrition is great, but they want to know your source. They're like, what are your beliefs? What are your visions? What are your values as a person? And I tell them, and I've led more people to God, more people to Christ in this profession in the last 2 years than I ever have in my entire life. And that's because I put that intention out there too. But what I'm really trying to drive home here is that my vision is not within Isagenix. Isagenix is part of my vision as a person, and it's part of who I am and part of how I'm going to get to where I want to go, but it's not the end all be all. And I think that that's sometimes what we get caught up in. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that that's sometimes what we get caught up in, because we think about the different ways to prospect, the different ways to connect to people, what to say, not to say, how to, overcome objections, what's going to, help keep people and help retention versus, helping them and serving them towards their specific goals, and listening to them wholeheartedly. So if anybody relates to this, I know that many of you are, your phones and your videos are off, so I can't see if you're nodding, if this is resonating with you. But if there's anybody on the line, or if there's anybody that can really just feels like they have a vision, like they have a calling, and they're using Isagenix to get to that specifically, I'd love to hear from you guys, to hear, what is your vision? What is your calling? What is your passion? And what you're using this to ultimately, where you're using this to lead you to. Is there anybody else, or anybody want to raise their hand or unmute themselves?
Other than Dina.
Well, Mike would like to as well.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll wait on mine.
All right. So, Nick, I totally identify. I'm on the treadmill too, by the way. I totally identify. Can you hear me, by the way?
Yeah. Yep.
Great. So I totally identify what you're saying, because, and I thank you for doing those live videos of that Super Saturday. That was great.
Cool.
There was that woman, I can't remember who it was, but she was talking about the areas that you need to be a 10 in.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that?
Yep. Yeah, I think her name is Andrea.
Okay, yeah, she got it, so you have to be a 10 in understanding the compensation plan. You have to be a 10 in the products. You have to be a 10 in network marketing. And then she said, you have to be a 10 in personal development. And then she said that's the hardest part for her. And I could relate to that because, that was a piece that I was, sort of avoiding for a very long time. And I realized that, and especially I'm seeing it now with Dina, now that she's heavily getting into personal development. I'm seeing it that for myself, but especially for her interactions with prospects, with anybody in general, are completely different.
I can tell.
It's just a different, higher vibration and a different energy, and it attracts people who she kept in touch with from before.
Yeah.
So it kind of, and that's kind of why, like, in the past, when I would hear, someone who was like, a leader talking about, how they prospect and what they say to people. And I think that sounds really simple. Why are they so freaking successful? And yet what they say to anyone is so simple. And I realize it's because of the energy that they're giving off.
Yeah.
Not necessarily what they're saying, but it's the energy that the person can feel intuitively.
Yeah, totally is. Absolutely.
So yeah, those are my thoughts.
Awesome. Mike, where do you see yourself? Like, talk to me a little bit about, which is great, and the personal development is awesome. But I wanted to challenge you guys to think on an even deeper level. What does the personal development mean? What are you developing towards?
Well, Well, initially our plan, was Dina, being able to be at a point where she could, be able to leave her 9-to-5 job.
Mm-hmm.
And then I realized, well, you can't really get to choose how successful you are in a way. So I have to put this in and make the commitment that I am going to put in the work to be able to leave my own 9-to-5 job.
Mm-hmm.
I can't expect this to be all her. So when it comes to my vision, it's definitely to be able to, like Patty said, do what we want with who we want, when we want, and not be concerned with money,
Mm-hmm.
not be concerned with, what our future, if our future financial situation is dependent upon, socioeconomics and employment, but to be able to really, at this point, my vision is to be able to become and be that person that I want to have as a business partner.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's really my vision right now, so that to be able to connect with those people.
Awesome. Yeah, that's definitely great. And I think that that's still, I think you're right there, because I think that those are all traits and those are characteristics as far as who you are and where you're becoming, like who you're becoming. Another example, I know Victor's on the line right now too, and we've discussed as well about this too. One of his goals and, long-term goals are to free himself financially so that he can have the luxury of either having his family closer to him, regardless of them moving here or him moving back to Rochester. He was in Rochester as well too. He moved down to Charlotte, and that's where we really just kicked it off. But his vision is he truly believes that God is going to use him as a vessel to minister to hundreds and thousands of people. And he is using this vehicle to free himself, to free his time and his financial side of things as well too, so that he can really just hit this vision of leading people to God, spreading the word of God to other people who need it. And obviously we all need it. So, these are all huge visions about how we're using Isagenix as the vehicle to really just help people in a dramatic way to change their lives outside of the physical and outside of the financial too, because the physical and financial is great, but what does that actually mean? And it took me a while to actually get intentional with that. So yeah, just a little exercise just to challenge yourselves. What all this means. Like, keep asking yourself, well, what does that mean? What does that mean? And get clarity on it, because it doesn't come naturally. And sometimes it takes a lot of deep thinking, a lot of prayer, a lot of meditation, but really just keep thinking on that level. Dina, what did you have to say? I wanted to hear what you wanted to say.
Oh, okay. Thanks. Are my headphones okay, or is that bad noise?
No, I hear you actually really well.
Okay. Finally. So I finally have more clarity. I see a vision of me having a multi-purpose studio that is about holistic health, where I collaborate with different practitioners, trainers. I'm going to be a transformational coach, where I can also collaborate with other experts in the fields of wellness, where, yes, there's going to be the Isagenix piece, but it's going to be art, bringing art and music together with overall wellness and mental health, and kind of bringing it all together in a really unique space where it's just like a crazy, wild thing. But then I have a vision. And the only way that I can get to that is for me to develop the Isagenix business so I can leave my job. And my vision is getting clearer and clearer and clearer. And it all happens to be really about bringing it all together. And I'm doing the kettlebell competition in June for real. I don't know if you can see how much more shredded I'm getting already.
Yes.
But it's like the mental focus involved with the kettlebell training I had no idea what I was getting into. but it's like amazing how the being relaxed and knowing how to use your whole body in different ways is bringing about different things, and like just the whole mental physical thing. I want to just take this to a whole other level.
Cool.
Boom.
Love it. That's great.
Can I chime in?
Yeah.
Please.
Okay, so my vision started out, and I love this question, and I love how you're pushing it, because that's something that, you know, Evan and I have been really talking about. And we kind of said, okay, what's our goal in 5 years? But beyond that, you know, at first I was doing this so that I could stay at home with Reagan, and going back to work isn't something that I'm faced with. But I was like, no, I'm not stopping there. I'm capable of way more than that. And one dream that God has laid on my heart for a while now, and now I'm starting to figure out that this is the financial piece to doing this, is Evan and I want to have a ranch here. And you guys, a lot of you who are close to me know horses are a huge passion of mine. But also young girls is another passion of mine, and almost like a mentorship role. And I can kind of now see what God's done along the way to prepare me for this, but somehow I'm going to use horses to empower young women. And so to be able to do that, we have to fund this facility. And Evan has a heart for the homeless. So we see this as being like a facility that can have multi-purposes. But you know, we're looking at buying 15, 20 acres here in Texas and launching this. And so now I'm understanding that God put me in this company because that's going to give us the financial means to do that. And I'm actually starting to talk more about that bigger vision with people. And I'm finding that it lights them up and they're starting to dream bigger. So I'm using that as, when I'm telling my story, I'm using that instead of saying this is how I get to stay at home with Reagan, I'm saying, and this is why what I'm doing is so amazing, because it's going to allow me to do this. And so, yeah, that's my vision.
That's great. That's awesome. Yeah, that's so clear too. And that has a distinction with who you are as a person and how you're going to, you know, ultimately impact people. You know, because that's ultimately what I truly believe we're all here for, is to impact and help people in some way, shape, or form. So I think that that's so awesome, Katie. And you're right, because people, yeah, it's great to show isogenics. It's great for weight loss. And I get that. Some people really love our weight loss solution, even though we're really not a weight loss company. But at the same time, I kind of cringe now, because I'm just like, it's so much bigger than that. Right. But at the same time, like, you know, people like Nate Crane wouldn't be here if he was, you know, not looking to maybe shred up some extra weight and lose a couple extra pounds. And then he catches fire with what we're really offering. Because, yeah, the products are great, but I truly believe they're a byproduct of what we offer. We offer people a vision, you know, a vision for their life. We offer them freedom. We offer them a community of camaraderie of people with like-minded individuals who can support them towards becoming the greatest expression of themselves while achieving their goals and dreams together. So I love that. Absolutely. Anybody else want to share? Does anybody else have anything on their heart or anything specifically in mind? Or should we move on and we'll come back to it and you guys can share?
I'll just share it quick, since still pretty new for me. And I think that vision's kind of developing as I'm going, but yeah, I mean, it definitely started off just as something I wanted to do to try to finally drop some weight and feel a little bit better. But, you know, like I was sharing a little bit with you before, like it's already, my blood pressure's down. I feel better at work. I'm able to just function in my daily life a lot better. Really, the biggest thing for me going in is I want to do it for my kids. So I'd have more energy coming home and be able to, you know, just keep going through the day and you know, make sure that they're having fun and enjoying me being around. And then, you know, my wife really wanted me to do it for, you know, the more long-term health benefits. But as I've been kind of going through this and talking to more people about it, it's definitely something where I see myself being able to use the story to help other people. And a lot of my friends that I've been talking to and have been asking me about it are definitely people that, really, really need it, not just for the weight loss, but like I've had a couple friends who, just talked about their overall health and like headaches and just fatigue constantly. And they're realizing there's a lot more people around me that I didn't realize were having these things going on in the world that, might not be the answer, but it certainly can't hurt. And if you can make any sort of impact, that's an awesome thing. And, it's turned into something that my wife and I are having fun doing together. Like I get home from work and we're sitting down talking about who we want to reach out to and coming up with these organized lists and like, hey, who'd you talk to today? And it's just, so it's something where we've been able to connect and have fun together with it. And obviously then lastly, the financial part has been cool, being able to add a good chunk to my paycheck these last couple of weeks has been awesome. And that just opens up all kinds of other doors for things I can do with my kids and my family and make sure they're having, getting everything that they want and need. But yeah, I mean, I guess for me, it's just, I didn't realize how many people were working in the same store as me that were hurting and in need of something. And, 3 of them have already jumped on board with me. And like, I was talking to one of my employees today who just placed an order yesterday, and he's like, am I going to get one of those water bottles I can carry around at work like you've been doing? I'm like, yeah, we're going to have to label them though. So I don't know. That's just a little bit. I don't know. It's developing as I go, but I'm seeing a whole lot more opportunity there than what I originally thought was just more for myself.
Yeah, which is awesome because your vision and everything is going to develop as you go. If you asked me this 2 years ago before I even got involved with Isagenix, I wouldn't have said probably any of what I just said.
No, and I can say, 14 months ago when you and I were talking about this compared to, when we talked about it this time around, the conversation sounded a whole lot different. And, the focus was a little different than what it originally was. And yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I focused a little bit more on people instead of focusing a little bit more on myself and my team and growing my team. It's a dance, you got to focus on people, but I believe like you, when you serve people and you lead with a heart of service, the money will always follow. So, but I appreciate that. And I accept that, because that's good feedback that I'm developing too. I want to develop in this process too, because I sure do not know it all.
Neither were bad. I'm just saying it was a little different conversation. It just, yeah, you could see how much the passion had grown, and you were super excited about it a year ago when we talked. But
yeah, I kind of had to fake it a little bit more back then because I was excited and I saw the potential, but I was like, can I really do that? And I had to keep plugging in. I had to keep building myself up. But I appreciate that. And like I said, everything happens at the right time, and this is what this business is all about. It's all about timing of people, and it took me a long time to figure that out, that it's just a timing thing, and people will never say no to you. Like Patty says, they'll never say no to you. They just simply do not know enough about what you're offering them. People understood, and we could just say, hey, take this pill and let's talk in 2 days. People would be like, oh, I'm in. If they knew everything that we knew and what we were doing and the possibilities that we have for people and their family and just the vision, the legacy that they can create, it's just unreal. And people just, sometimes we have to just go down to the level of products, which is fine. But yeah, that's great, Nate. That's great. And, you're a rock star. Both you and Liz are both rocking it right now. Nate, I believe is going to be, I think it's Nate. It's going to be at Celebration with us. And I'm working on reservations. I know I keep saying that. So Adiana and I have been looking at some houses. So,
hey, I hadn't talked to Alyssa about that plan. I just got a really interesting look from her.
Oh, yeah. Whoops. This emoji. Well, we were actually talking about some ideas too, as far as, how you guys can make it happen. So we'll talk about that privately. And we'll see if, I would love for you guys to make it both. And you could bring the whole family. We'll figure it out. Whatever we have to do.
What?
All right. Anybody else want to share while we're on the topic? I know that these are kind of some heartfelt and deep conversations that we're having right now. But I want to give the chance to anybody that wants to share. And I believe there's power in sharing, sharing with everybody else on what your vision is and, you know, what you feel like God is putting in your heart to do for other people.
It might work since I haven't talked in like 2 months.
Whoa, Ethan is stepping up. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, so yeah, over the last few months, I've had a lot of people in my life that have weight loss goals that aren't achieving them for whatever reason. And I feel like I've known the solution for all of them for over a year now, because I've been on this for like a year and a half. But simply me just telling them this is great, I love it, is not enough. And so I think my short-term goal is just to become proficient at speaking about it, and speaking about it with a sense of the word I'm trying to look for is kind of believability, something like that. So yeah, and I think my long term is just, I think just me realizing a goal that I started and kind of fulfilling the potential that you guys have put work into helping me. And there's a lot of things in my life that I haven't fulfilled potential for. So I think it's kind of two-sided. It's both for me to fulfill my potential and for me to be able to help other people kind of stop doing all these really difficult diet things that don't seem to really be getting them anywhere. And but I mean, I definitely like, it's really interesting to hear everybody else's ideas too. And I didn't even know that, we just talked the other day. I had no idea she was looking at that kind of studio idea. That's really cool. So I want to work there too.
Yeah.
But that's what I got.
That's great, man. Thanks for sharing, Ethan. And you're right about that. It's about sharing this and with like that confidence and that enthusiasm. But an example I can actually share with you is I had a call with a teammate yesterday who got me on a 3-way call. And he is one person that I literally am like all the time, slow down, get us on a call together. I want to talk to your people. And every single time he's like trying to enroll them with like individual products. He's like, hey, I got on a call yesterday and I said, let's slow down. Let's talk to your friend and see, what we can serve him with. And we got on the call. This is the 3rd time that I told him, do not start to enroll him until we have a phone call together, until I talk to your friend. And it's not even about believability even. It's just about listening to people and building a relationship and rapport. Because 9 times out of 10, people don't feel heard. People don't feel like people are listening to them wholeheartedly. And so, for instance, I called him, or he called me. He's like, hey, I have my friend Brandon who's going to be getting on the phone, or he's here with me right now. And we're getting him all set up. We're in the screen. He's going to start with probably just, just a smaller bunch of stuff. So I think we're going to do some shakes and some cleanse and some ionics. So, but he can't do the 30-day system. So we're just going to just mix and match. And I'm sitting there like kind of slapping my forehead like, oh my gosh, we've already went through this. And I literally said to him, well, I was like, I'm just going to say his name is Mike, just for the sake of this. It's not Mike, but just for the sake of this, just in case he gets on these calls. I just said, Mike, let's slow down here. We got a first date here. I want to get to know your friend a little bit more. And so I said, hi, Brandon, how are you? And I had a talk with him. And, I asked him, what are you looking for? How can we help you? He's like, oh, I just want to be healthier. And I want to just feel better and look better. Look good is what he said. And I said, well, break that down for me. Because, that's like going to a car dealership and asking, I want a minivan. It's like, okay, well, what model, what features do you want in this minivan? Do you want it to be leather, cloth? Do you want, a V6? What do you want? What are you looking for? And so we have to be really precise too, just like we're looking for cars at a dealership when we're talking to individuals. So I had him break these things down. Well, what does that look like? Tell me more about that. And he started breaking down and getting really heartfelt that his whole family has issues with blood pressure and depression and all these different things, cancer, and he wants it to end with him. And so he just pretty much got really intentional with these goals. And where I'm going with this is I ultimately asked him at the end, well, these are great goals, and he had financial goals too. I said, on a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being super excited, ready to get started right now, versus a 1, obviously we wouldn't be on this phone call. I always make that joke. 1, we wouldn't be talking right now, but where do you see yourself? And he's like, I'm a 10. I'm like, great. Well, can I share with you exactly how we get people started? He's like, yeah, absolutely. And I said, the number 1 pack that every single person, 9 out of 10 people come in with, it's called the value pack. It has the best deal. I broke it down for him. It's $5.89. Yesterday we had free shipping on it. So I was like, it's a steal of a deal for what you get. And the next one down is, I started explaining the pace setter. I started going back to the pace setter. He interrupted me and he says, well, the value pack, how long is that going to last? And he started to ask me questions about that. Next thing you know, he comes in with a value pack. And his friend is floored. He was just like, oh my gosh. Because before he was saying he didn't have the money, when really he did have the money. I had to kind of twist his arm a little bit and have him take a leap of faith and trust me. But usually, guys, people just want to be heard. They just want people to understand where they're coming from. And when we share and we have them share that pain, it really gives them a meaning, like you build a rapport, you have that relationship with them. And at the same time, they just feel like they can, they have a good friend in you now too. So that's exactly what this person did. And they ended up coming with the value pack. And he has his mom pretty much coming on board and a couple other people. So I'm just like, dude, you're going to make your money back in no time anyways. So that's just an example. And Ethan, that was a great response too, that, yeah, it's believability, it's confidence in the product and what you're offering. But most importantly, what we're offering them is us. Products work great, but when it comes to us, they need to believe in what we're saying about these things, and they need to trust us so that we can just be that vessel for them when they pour into us. So with that being said, I want to just move really quick into, I know that we've kind of been on this call a little bit longer, but when it comes to starting conversations and just connecting with individuals, I posted a little while ago, I posted in the team page about my personal method as to how I actually start to create conversations with individuals and make connections on Facebook. Have you guys watched that video? Has that been helpful to you guys to see how I pretty much go through the process? No one's video is on, so I don't know who's watching me. You can just give me like a yes or a thumbs up.
I have watched it. Yes, it was helpful. The only thing that I have found, Nick, is that in using your script, it's not me.
Okay.
And that's one thing that I've been trying to figure out is like, okay, Nick's using the script. He's having super success. It's working really well. And I'm sitting here going, what am I doing wrong? Like, why am I not getting the positive feedback that Nick's getting with people going, yeah, what do you have? And all of that. And what I think I'm finding is that that's not how I would speak. So I'm kind of tweaking it to make it mine. And I'm seeing how it goes. Like I just started, I'm committing to reach out to 300 people in the next 30 days. And so I just did my first 20 today. So nice. I'm trying to, and some of them, I'm not even getting them to the point where they're ready to yes or no take a look. So I don't know if you can speak to that. I feel like I'm in the developing rapport stage forever with them and don't necessarily find a good time to say, hey, listen. And I know you do it pretty quickly and it doesn't seem to backfire on you. At least I guess we don't see it backfiring on you.
Well, it does sometimes too.
So I don't know if you can speak to that. And I don't know if that all goes into level of belief and your posture and all of that. But I've used that script a lot and I haven't gotten the kind of results. So I'm like, okay, am I not building rapport enough? Or is it that's just not me? And so people read that from me and they go, this looks like a script. It doesn't look like something Katie would say.
Well, send me I guess what you're saying to people initially, because I don't send it right away to people. I don't know if that's what you're doing.
Right.
I definitely start a conversation with them first.
Okay.
I always ask them about them. I always say, it looks like you're doing amazing. I see all your posts. Maybe I'll customize it, say like, hey, I love all the pictures of your family, or hey, I just saw that you just recently got married. The married life rocks. You're going to love it. Just to kind of personalize it to them. And then I get them talking, and then I pretty much go into, you can personalize it however you want. That's just a guideline to get, kind of, keep structure to the conversation.
Right.
But when it comes to, you can word it how you want. I would keep, the script relatively the same, since I got it from somebody else. We got it from that person that was using it, and I pretty much just, made it my own a little bit.
Yeah.
But I literally work the numbers. I've probably, for every person that tells me I'm interested, I probably have to go through at least 25 people. So bless you.
Oh, that's Reagan. That's not me.
Bless you.
That's Reagan choking on a little chewy thing, so she's okay. Yeah, I'm developing rapport with them. I can talk to you offline about this if you have just 5 minutes, but I'm developing the rapport and showing interest, and I think I'm getting stuck in that stage, and then I'm not actually getting to the point of saying, will you take a look at this? Or, these are the 2 types of people that I love to work with. That whole thing. So maybe I'm not developing rapport enough, or maybe I need to work on feeling more comfortable just putting it out there. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. I think that personally, it's a dance, because I think that a lot of people are watching me online, and I think the live videos do so much when it comes to people getting to know me. So I think that the videos, if you're not comfortable with live videos yet, then just do regular videos and upload them. I know that some people do that and has great success. But at the same time, people get to know you further. And I know that you've done live videos in the past, which is awesome. And I would say continuously do them on a regular basis, because it's going to help your brand. It's going to help people get to know you when you're not actively, speaking with them one-on-one.
Yeah.
So I think that that's maybe why my success is maybe, I don't know, a little bit higher, because I actively am putting myself uncomfortably on video, regardless if I'm, feeling comfortable with what I'm about to talk about or not. So yeah, ultimately I look at my Facebook profile, and that's what I was also going to talk to you guys about as well too, when it comes to branding on social media. I look at my page so many times, and I just look through my posts. I'm like, is this somebody that I would want to follow? What is my page needing next? Do I need a quote? Do I have, do I need a video? Do I need a picture of like my wife and I, or just talking about love or God, or, so, I have spokes, and, I think about 5 different things of how I brand my social media. It's primarily wrapped around God, my wife, network marketing and entrepreneurship, health and wellness and nutrition, and just, quotes and leadership, and just, just room for whatever else, just describing me as a person. So those are kind of like my 5 spokes that you'll always see my post resonate with. And so that's what people know me for. So, kind of keep that in mind too, when you're doing yours. I got that I added you guys too. I know that Katie, you were part of this group as well, from rock and roll to executive. And that was probably the most helpful Facebook group. I just added Nate, I added Eric, I added everybody that I could possibly find. I think Tracy's already in there. I think everybody else is already in there besides Nate and Eric. So I added you guys to that, because the videos that they come out with in there, I haven't honestly been watching them for a while. Hey, Reagan. But they're really, really helpful. So I would check those videos out, because that's where I've gotten a lot of my social media ideas. That's where I've, kind of just helped myself brand on social media to get people to know me better. But yeah, in regards. Yeah, go ahead, Dina.
I'm sorry. I wanted to share that I've been talking to people for a really long time, and and it's awkward sometimes. And sometimes you just have to take a leap of faith. And this morning, what Patty said was, say to yourself, they're going to really like what I have to hear.
Yeah.
And I did that, and I got on a phone, and I called this guy who I was like, he's like on my chicken list, and he was like, I'm really glad you called me today. And I met him 2 weeks ago, and sometimes like our stories in our head get in our way of what we're gonna say, and it just and I trust me, I am like I never thought I would be a leader kind of person in my life. So this whole transformation has been that learning how to just do it and say it and just work through the uncomfortable and just kind of laugh at yourself and be like, oh yeah, there's a little fumble, and keep moving, because we're all human and we're all just trying to communicate.
There's times where I actually speak during my call when I was going through like my vision for my life, and I was just thinking to myself after I said it, I'm like, that didn't even make sense, but it almost sounded so confident when I said it, it made sense. So I just owned it, and people don't know until you really just show that, that's not what I meant to say. And if it wasn't, it came out weird, then just say, hey, didn't mean to really say that. This is what I meant, so people love authenticity. But that's great. And you are a leader, and you envision yourself as a leader now. You're seeing yourself more and more as a leader. And that's ultimately what's carrying you, because now you're really starting to believe in yourself, your abilities, and that's starting to communicate to other people. So that's fantastic. Birthday girl, you got anything to say? You're pretty quiet over there.
I don't have a lot to say because it's hard to say. My throat still hurts. Yeah, because my throat still hurts. So if I start coughing, I'm sorry. You all know when I first came into the company, I was all product only, and I'm not going to sell this, and no network marketing for me, and the whole 9 yards. So that completely changed. Actually, it changed when I met Nick, who I was, I'm not even going to go into that story, but yeah, it changed when I met Nick, and then met everybody else at the event. But my short-term vision was to just get healthier, I think. And then after that, it was, well, let me help some people, because I still wasn't sure of anything at the time. And from that, it was, I'm going to leave my job. So I'm leaving my job in July. Mm-hmm. And from that point is, I really don't know. My vision is to open a wellness center, eventually, a holistic health center. Are you also there?
Yeah, you're a little choppy. Okay. I can hear you okay, but
yeah, you're frozen on my screen now.
Yeah,
that's why.
Mine, so it's okay.
Yeah, okay. But yeah, and I want to travel the world. There's just so many things I want to do. My fiance wants he and I to open up a youth center, because there's so many kids out there that they don't have parents that care. They don't have God in their lives. They don't have a stable place to call home. And they definitely have no idea about proper nutrition and things of that nature. So that's the part that like really tugs at my heart. And that's my major thing that I want to do.
That's great. That's awesome. We could probably go all night on our vision. If we really allowed ourselves to really truly imagine, we could all go all night, and we could start talking about all these different things that we're going to be doing to help people, to help ourselves, what our world is going to look like. And honestly, I truly recommend that you sit there when you have, no one ever has 2 to 3 hours, but write down, the vision for your life. What do you see happening in the next 1, 3, 5 years? What is your life going to look like? What are you going to be doing? What's the air going to be smelling like? Who are the people that you're going to be surrounded with? What are the clothes that you're going to be wearing? Really get as detailed as possible, because once you start to get really into the details, that's when your mind can really start to hone in on, the things that you're going to be going for. And those are important things to you. I know that because we've had that conversation before. So yeah, that's great. The Health and Wellness Center, and being able to really just tie it to, giving and supplying people with better nutrition, but, ultimately just serving people where they're at. That's great. I love it, Tracy. Love it. You're on fire.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Very much. A lot of it comes from my experience here at the hotel. I don't know if you all know or not, but when kids stay in a hotel, extended stay or not, they're considered homeless, and they're considered homeless in school. They're in a program called McKinney Bento. So they're labeled literally at school homeless. And so I've seen so many just sit on the steps and cry because they don't have anything, and then they're getting made fun of whenever they go to school, and they're getting made fun of when they're here, and it tears you up inside. So I want to be able to at least put a dent in that or do something with it.
Yeah, and that's so good. And because you do have that part, that place in your heart for those people. And I do too, people that are needy and individuals, because you never know what people are going through and how they became homeless in the first place. It's not just because they're lazy sitting on a couch and they just, don't want to get a job.
Right.
It might be maybe 5% of them, but many of these people have stories. And it's incredible, like what some of these people go through, and to be able to help these individuals get through is extremely important. Adiana just got home from the gym. She's heating up food. Hi, Adiana.
Hi, Adiana.
Well, cool. Great. So yeah, the more intentional you can get with your vision and intentional with where you're going, who you're becoming in the process, the better that you're going to become, the bigger of a leader you're going to be. And the more people that you're going to find yourself physically and financially free, which is that's the part that's amazing. I get depressed, I start prospecting. Adiana knows, like if I'm getting upset and I'm getting anxious, I'm like, I just need to talk to people. So that's kind of my coping mechanism now. So just to end, I would recommend for you guys to, obviously we have this, kind of, we really got deep with our conversation, so this is going to sound kind of minute now, but we are into the rapid crystal reset. Obviously, people are going manager at the end of this month. Nate and Alyssa are going to be managers. Tracy's going to be a manager. Who knows? Maybe Eric can be manager by the end of this month. I truly believe he can. He's got it. He's got it in his heart. He's got this fire burning inside him. I already know it. So there's no stopping us as individuals as well too.
Really?
But what I would say is we can talk more about this next game. I have a pretty good verbiage when it comes to creating consultants right from the get-go. So when you're creating consultants right from the get-go, finding two people that can come with just pretty much in with these individuals, or painting a bigger picture for them right from the start of what we have here with Isagenix. Yeah, again, like we were talking about, and Katie even said it, like people start to light up when they hear, oh my gosh, this is what Katie's vision, this is Katie's dream, this is Katie's calling. It's not just about Isagenix anymore. It's about her and what she wants to accomplish, and she's using this as a vehicle. Now people start to kind of separate the two, which is, where people are we have that marginal utility of being unique, of how we're approaching people. It's one thing to say the products work, they're great, you can lose weight, 5 to 20 pounds of body fat in the first 2 weeks. That's all awesome. But at the same time, if we can paint a bigger picture for people to help them really start to actualize who they are as a person, the true potential that's within them, and helping them become the greatest expression of who they want to be deep down, that's ultimately what makes this so fulfilling and so fun and so worth it in the long run. So other than that, I'm just going to end the recording right now.